Strange attraction. Two perfect words for magic, really. Because, of course, as magicians, we like to introduce people and have them experience something strange, stuff that doesn't make any sense at all, right? Surreal, strange, bizarre, etc. But at the same time, attraction. The energy between two things. And again, as a magician, it could be the energy you feel between yourself and your props, yourself and your audience, the trick of the audience, all the different kinds of things, attraction. So we're going to dive in, and I'm going to show you a whole bunch of very cool things you can do with this set of custom printed cards. Cards, not playing cards, but custom printed tarot cards. I went through a period back in my 30s when I actually used this card, the Magus card. Definitely look it up online, M-A-G-U-S. The Aleister Crowley pack is particularly interesting to me. I know a little bit about tarot. Aleister Crowley, look up the meaning of the word the Magus, the magician. Fascinating. I bet you'll find when you break down some of the meanings and associations that it reminds you a lot of you. So definitely do that. You might well be the kind of performer that wants to incorporate a few of those details into your presentation. Now, as I was saying years ago, went through a period where I actually used this card, the tarot card, the Magus card, as a magic wand, essentially. Had it in my pocket, used it, tapped on people's hands to make things vanish and appear and read minds, and sometimes the Magus would whisper to me and all that stuff. Worked so well, so commercial. People love this kind of thing. It's so engaging, it's so dramatic. It's kind of the bridge between abracadabra, right, and science. There's this kind of interesting, and while very few people believe you can make a coin vanish into thin air, really, lots of people believe in the power of the tarot cards. So keep that in mind. That's one of the reasons why this trick is so strong. And I bet you'll find you get reactions with this trick that are sort of next level. Now, I used one of these for years, and it never occurred to me I could do a fusion effect with this, all right? So we're going to be diving deep into the other cards that come with this. So we're going to do a whole bunch of things here. And what's really cool about this, too, is I made sure there's a bunch of details. You can repeat this. I'm going to show you a bunch of handlings now that some of them are dead easy. Some of them more complicated, more advanced, to achieve the effect we're trying to achieve, or really the effects. Because the two effects we're really going to be exploring on this part are, one is that this card is able to find their freely selected card. This card is somehow able to find it because of the strange attraction, the energy between the spectator and the card, or maybe the selected card and this card, right? So that's one effect we're going to be looking at, that it finds the card. Very cool, dramatic. The other effect, of course, is this next level, sort of a finale, where the selected card actually melts. The attraction between these two is so strong that they fuse together as one and can be examined. All right? So let's jump in. I want to start by sharing with you a few of the most performed handlings I've ever performed with this custom set of cards. Let's start by assuming that early in your show, you handed out the Magus card, people take a good look at it, maybe it uses a magic wand, whatever, and you say, look, let's try something else here, something kind of strange, kind of mystical. You give the deck to someone, they shuffle the cards. They shuffle the cards, there is no setup. You say, we're going to try to create a special connection between the Magus card and one of the cards in the pack. You're going to choose the card, all right? One by one, I'm going to deal the cards down onto the table here. And at some point, I want you to say, that's my card, or that's the card. And at some point, they say, that's the card. You say, you're sure. They say, yes. You say, take a look at the card. I don't want to see it. Remember, they do. You say, now, I'm going to bury the card, whatever it is, in among these cards. Take all these on top here. And now I want you to give the cards a thorough shuffle. They give it a second shuffle. And you say, I think that even though your selected card and the Magus card only came close together for a beat, I believe that there's a special connection there that we're going to find to see if you can tap into that. You say to the spectator, you're going to spread out the cards, they can cut the cards, whatever they want. We can do that since we have the table. You ask them to hold the corner of the Magus card and slip it anywhere among the cards, and they slip it right here in the dead center, right there. And you say, okay, watch. You isolate the card right down to here, to the card right beside the Magus card, and you, for the first time, you say, go ahead, name the card, and they say 5 of diamonds. You say, you sure? They say, yeah, you go. Magus card didn't exactly guide to that card. The special connection didn't really work there. You say, wait a second, maybe it's the card not below the Magus card, maybe it's the card above. And again, they shuffled the pack. They slipped it anywhere they want, and now you show triumphantly the 5 of wrong on both counts. Wait a second. This happened one time before where the connection between the Magus card and the selected card was so strong that the two, yes. And you show right there. They have impossibly fused together. And what I really like about this handling is they can go through the entire pack and there is no other 5 of diamonds. Here is a version. Kind of got different virtues to it, different images that are performed a bunch of times. Start by giving the deck a shuffle. Okay, shuffle deck, which is always a nice way to start a performance here. Okay, shuffled cards, fine. Spread through the cards, they can touch any card they want. Again, 100% free choice. You have them touch a card, let's say right there. So we're not even going to remove the card from the pack, okay? We're just going to give you a little peek of the card. Keep it in mind, okay? Push it right back in the middle of the deck. Super fair. Say, we're going to find your card, or rather you are, with the Magus card. This is going to be the card, all right? You have them hold the card very carefully because it is a magic card by the corner, the tiniest corner of the tarot card, which they do, right? Say, I'm going to go through the cards. I want you to say stop whenever you want. They say stop. You lift the cards right there, exactly where they say stop. You say put that right in there, which they do. You square it up. I think there might be a special connection between whichever card you peeked at, whatever one you're thinking of, and the Magus card. I went through and put it exactly where you want it. Let's see. You lift the cards right where, and amazingly, they find their card. You say, hey, I actually think the connection between the Magus card and the 5 of diamonds is so powerful. Watch. And they see when you bring the two close together, there's some sort of weird wiggling connection between the two of them. You say, in fact, I think if we bring them too close together, there could be trouble. For example, if I take the card, okay, put it in my hand, I think if I slap it against the Magus card, the two will actually impossibly, look, just like that, they have fused together. And again, you could hand that out as an amazing souvenir to be closely examined. Before we dive a little deeper into the methods behind this, I want to share with you one more really bulletproof, very dramatic version I performed many times. What I really like about this is the ending happens in the spectator's own hand, which typically makes things even more impossible. Slightly different approach here. With this one, the Magus card is going to guide me to find your card. We're going to try something. Sometimes I get it right, sometimes I don't, but with the help of the magician on the Magus card, I'm going to get guiding to your card, okay? So look, I don't want you to reach inside and grab a card or pick a card. I'm just going to go through, and whenever you want, you just say now. And they say now. You give them a quick look at a card. Take the pack, all the cards back together, give it to them and give them a shuffle. As they're shuffling the cards, you say, I think you'd agree that's test conditions. I mean, you didn't even remove a card. You took a quick peek at it, then immediately put it in the middle of the pack and shuffle the cards. I think you'd agree now it's going to be very hard for me to find your card. But I'm going to see. I'm going to try to narrow it down a little bit here. I'm going to take some cards. I think maybe that card. Maybe. Not sure. Maybe this one. Maybe this one. Maybe. What's that? Oh, okay, the little whisper from the Magus card there. Maybe this one. I'm not sure. Well, look. Just to make sure I'm on the right track here, okay? I've narrowed down these cards. I want you to tell me, is the card you're thinking of one of the cards here? Do you see it? And they do. And you say, fine, look. I'm going to hand you the cards. We know your card's there. I want you to put your hand on top and hand on bottom. So while they're holding the cards in their own hand, okay, I reach in among, sort of below the Magus card. While they're holding, I reach in, and I can even look away. And just by touch alone, I reach underneath. I say, I don't think it's this card. Was it this one? They say, no. So you have this beautiful build of drama. I reach in again. I'm looking away the entire time. Reaching underneath, I'm feeling, and I say, was it maybe this one? They go, no. I go, okay, hold on. Was it maybe, I'm getting a sense from, no, okay. You probably can't feel the tingling, but the Magis card is guiding me. Was it this one? They say no. I say, okay, watch. Gotta reach out there. Was it this one? They say no. I say, so each time I sort of got it right because I was able to avoid it. I'm just trying to get rid of the cards one by one, get it down to one. One card there like this. Now, I'm going to try, even though I think the chemistry, the attraction between the last card and your card and the tarot card is very strong. I'm going to try to steal, with my bare hands, steal the card out from under there. You go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. The problem is you're holding too tight. When you hold too tight, then of course they open their hand and they find the selected card is fused to the Magis card. So those 3 first handlings I chose because first, they're the ones I perform the most. They're the most direct, most dramatic, most bulletproof, most fail-safe, etc. I wanted to share with those. I suspect you're going to end up performing one version of those 3 because they're so direct and there's so many virtues we're going to jump into. However, after I teach and reveal the secrets to those first 3 handlings, we're going to be jumping into other ideas as well. All right? So, like I mentioned, is that I typically, we're going to come back to the question around the switching of the card a little bit later on. We'll touch. But the way I typically do it is I introduce the ungimmicked or the ordinary Magis card. I introduce this early in my show. Sometimes I even walk up to people and say, hey, how you doing? Anybody drop this tarot card? Anybody drop a tarot card? It's the Magis card. It's nothing for the magician, which makes sense because I'm actually a magician. And I head into it from there. And I always make sure to take a good look at that. If you met this guy before, you don't see anything strange in that picture, do anything weird. There's a little bit of weird stuff, but it's a PG show, folks, whatever. Make sure they really have a chance to really focus on this. The more they study and look at the card at the beginning of your show, the infinitely less the more they're just going to assume that this is the same card. And at some point, what I'll do is I do some kind of switch. I'll use this in a coins across or whatever, tuck it in my pocket, do something else, and then take this out, whatever, and then go leave it on the table and do something else and finish with this, okay? But we'll get back into that kind of thing a little bit later. But for these first 3, I wanted to really jump in and show you the power and the impact, the variety you can do with strange attraction. So we're going to assume for all 3 of these that you've already switched the card, you used it earlier for something else, they're already very familiar with it, and you've done some casual switch. You left it on the table, whatever. Okay, here we are. So, the first handling. First handling is very cool. Very clean. Now, I'm going to warn you right now, do not get caught thinking like a magician. This is one of the big things that really impedes it. It limits a lot of magicians. Their performance style. They think a magician has to be a certain way. And the tricks they use and the methods, because they think what's obvious to them is going to be obvious to you. It's not. Remember, they know this card. They examine this card, okay? This is the last thing on their mind. They're not thinking it has anything. This is the image they have in their head. You need to remember that, okay? So what do we have here? We get rid of the 5 of diamonds. Such a clean ending, okay? We got rid of the 5 of diamonds there. I'm going to grab it right now because we're going to need it in a moment. Okay, boom. Now, we are here, my friends. Let's jump in. So we got rid of the 5 of diamonds. So for starters, what we have is we have a shuffled pack. Give them the cards, they shuffle the cards. How fair is that? At any point in your show, they shuffle the cards, right? Now you draw attention to the Magis card and say, we're going to try to create a connection between this and one card, and you're going to actually choose the card. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of deal them down on the table one by one. At any point, I want you to say, that's the card. And when they say, that's the card, you say, you're sure? They say, yes. You take it and you show it to them. Now, the moment I did this during my performance, because you already looked at the gimmicks and the pack that was included in this, you immediately thought to yourself, oh, I bet that's the specially printed card. A layperson's never going to think that, right? Particularly because what I'm doing here is as I go through, I'm grabbing with my fingers, dropping it on the table, right, until they say now. And you get them totally fair. If they want to change their mind, they can change their mind, okay? But what's important, I find, you can do it one-handed, right, like this. Or you can take them like this. What's important, though, is, and this is not a hard, this isn't even a move. I push it off. I pretend to grab it with my fingers. Just pull it back onto the pack, right? While at the same time turning this and showing that. Very, totally casual. The larger action of passing this from here to here and up is what's selling it, okay? It's really, Very convincing. You'll do this in the mirror, and you'll do it in the mirror, and you'll swear that that's the card, okay? Now notice you can do that gesture like that. You could even come a little bit higher like this, okay? Sort of feed it up and come away as you want, like this. But you don't want, if this is a court card, for example, you wouldn't want to flash this, so you have to be careful. But boom, it's so fair. So what have we done? Always important. They shuffled the pack. They stopped at a card. You took the card, you showed it to them. You were looking the other way, right? Then you put the card down. This is real. All I'm doing is reversing the action, okay? Don't make a big deal of it. No one's looking. You just, as you come down, you push it off with the thumb. It's just down like this, off with the thumb like that. Drop this on the table casually. So this action combined with this, totally sells that you showed the card momentarily, and there it is there, right? Then you gather it back up. I love this part. And then, of course, it's back in the middle of the deck, right? And they shuffle the cards. Okay, so they can shuffle the card. They shuffle the cards. Now, the rest of it is just drama. I love the drama of it. You can spread out the cards. You can hold it in your hand. You can have the husband or wife hold it in one hand while the other. But the careful thing here is, of course, is if you're dealing with people who've been drinking, you don't want to get a situation where people turn this over early, right? So it really depends. If I'm dealing with a rowdy bunch, then I control it more. If I'm dealing with a very, polite, friendly bunch, then I let them touch the stuff more, right? Okay. But here, you can fan out the cards. I can take it, so I'm going to slowly move it along here, and you tell me when to put it in. Right there, you're sure. You're sure. Not one card up, not one card below. And so here, they're making the choice, but I'm controlling the actions, so they can't turn it over, right? But if they decide like that in this, beautiful shuffle deck. They chose any card. You showed it to them. They saw the card go back in. They shuffled the cards again. You slipped it in. Test conditions. Now you say, look, right here. Look at this amazingly. And say, now you ask them what was their card. And they say 5 of diamonds. And you go, there it is. You sure? If I got that wrong. Okay, well, maybe it's not the card directly below. Maybe it was directly above. No, that's wrong too. And now, of course, you can say whatever you want, but you sometimes, every now and then, the attraction between the selection and the Magic's card is so strong that I don't believe it. You just, well, you ruined my tarot card, right? And with this handling, not only, so with this handling, of course, they can even go through the pack and there's no duplicate 5 of diamonds right here. So far ahead. So I love that handling. Like I said, I love that handling. Okay, what's another one I've used? The second one here is the, the slip shuffle and the topper. Okay, so here we're going to force, right? And with this one, what we're going to do is first we're going to shuffle the deck, okay? So in this instance, the spectator doesn't shuffle. You shuffle, okay? You're here. You're giving the cards a shuffle. What's nice about the overhand shuffle is it's totally unsuspicious looking. It looks exactly like you're just shuffling a pack of cards. But in fact, you're controlling the card on the top the whole time. And all I'm doing there, this is easy, okay? That's what I love about, okay? What I really love about Strange Attraction is it's so simple. These first handlings are so easy. I'm squeezing a little bit with my fingertips, just a squeeze, okay? What that does is it holds the card there. I'm actually squeezing the top and bottom cards, thumb and finger, together. The top and bottom cards are, and then shuffling the rest off, okay? So it's just like this, but boy, it doesn't look like legitimate, okay? Now I'm going to force the 5 in a really fair way. They can touch any card, and I mean any card in the deck they can touch. This is Topper, a variation on Frank Garcia's move. Topper allows you to do a very cool force. So they can touch anyone they want. You out-jog. You want to change your mind? You do. Okay. Another one. How about this one down here? That good? Okay. So totally fair. And it looks to all the world like I simply turn it over, give you a little peek at it, and then push it back into the middle of the deck. Looks so good. All I'm actually doing, though, is I'm here, is as the hand comes up and turns over, okay, I am going to square this card with my fingertips, pushing the card flush into the pack, okay? The thumb is pulling this card off the top, okay? And then I'm holding it with the edge of the thumb and the fingertips. Not hard to do, just a little practice. Flick like this, and then when I tap it, all I'm doing is, because they are holding on to it, is it taps flush back on. Then if you don't have to, you can come right down, or with the left thumb, you can kind of give a little break and open it up. All combined, okay? This is slow motion. They touch a card, okay? You turn over and show them the card. You push it in, you come back down, and let it close. They're convinced it's in the middle, it's actually on top, okay? Performance speed, touch any card you want. They touch a card, you're there, take a look at the card, keep it in mind, okay? So super fair. Any card. They don't even take it out of the pack. Just a little peek. Okay? So we've done that. Now, so we did that. Now what we can do is we could do a riffle, for example, if you wanted to, where I can cut the pack here, cut the pack, keep a break, right? So it's somewhere in the middle, apparently. But what I do is I cut the pack, keep a break with my pinky, right? And I say, okay, we're going to see if we can find the card with this art. I'm going to go through. I want you to say now, whenever you want. They go now, and I apparently lift exactly where they say. And we put the tarot card in there. But actually what I do is I'm keeping a break with my pinky, riffling down, and when they say now, I'm just going to lift off all the cards. So you go slowly here, and what you'll find, what expert magicians do, is they cover the front edge so you can't see, and the thumb's back here. And so that way, when I riffle, and I point it down, so you don't know if it's 3 cards or 30 cards. But as soon as they say now, as I cut the cards there, they put that in there. It's going to go right on top, right? Like this. So what have we done? Well, spread out the cards. They touched any card. They could change their mind. You gave them a little peek of their card, in this case, the 5 of diamonds. What a surprise. In the middle of the pack, then you tapped it in the middle of the pack. In the middle of the pack, right? Now you riffled, and they put their card in anywhere they wanted. Where they said stop, you cleanly cut it. They put it in the middle. Very fair. Everything very fair. Nothing fancy. Nothing confusing, right? You're here like this. Now you lift up the cards, or this. You can have this very pretty image that I sort of inspired. The original idea behind this is the tarot card is bigger than the rest, so you can grab the edge of the tarot card, lift up all the cards, and there their card is. What a great trick. They have no idea. This is the other thing. As a magician, don't think about the next phase. Focus all the drama here. This is an amazing trick. Okay. Now, almost on the offbeat, you can talk about attraction. The attraction between these two can be so great that, whatever, okay? Now you're going to do the tent vanish. Say, look, attraction. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll say I can actually feel the attraction between them. I can feel it, you know. Okay. Now I could hold the card in my hand here like this, but here, what I'm going to do is actually bring the two together. And you want to be careful when you lift this. Of course, you don't want to flash that early, but you're here like this. You pick this up, and then you're going to mirror a nice mirroring action of these two coming together, right? Like this, okay? You could even hand this to the spectator. You could even do this like this. Say, look, in fact, you know, put that like that. So I want you to do me a favor, hold your hands. You hold these two as if it needs 2 fingers. You put them in their hands, and then they hold and they squeeze the attraction, whatever, going to steal it or whatever it is, and then they lift their hand and find that, okay? So that's a very pretty image as well. Okay, this last one I find pretty fun here. This last one. Okay, this last one's kind of so again we're going to use a force, and this time I used a Hindu force. Just so I have the 5 of diamonds on the bottom of the pack. All right, like this 5 of diamonds. And we're going to in a moment. I'm going to show you a few ways you can get the deck set up with the 1 card where you need it from a shuffled pack, completely impromptu. A couple of old ruses that you can use. Okay. So I'm here. This is the 3rd and final one. Again, I've done this a bunch of times, and particularly in bars, it just seems to suit that. It's on the bottom. And you can do a Hindu shuffle is basically where you're pulling cards, and you can pull them from the bottom of the deck, okay? Or you just take off the sort of top 2/3 and pull off from the top, okay? Now, what that means is I can at any point pull a bunch off and keep going. And it gives the deck a really good shuffle, but keeps the bottom, what's called the bottom stock, undisturbed. Pulling off the top. Let me show you again. I'm going to pull here, okay? And you'll see that the bottom cards never get disturbed, okay? It's always just the top cards, top half, top 3/4. So, I can be here, go through, whenever you feel like it, you just say stop at any card. What I love about this, and this is such a fooler, is you show them a card and drop it. The fact that you flashed the card and then dropped it into the middle of the deck really sells the idea that it was in the middle of the deck at the start, but of course it was the bottom card, right? But so fair. I can go through, just say stop whenever you want. So you say that one right there, boom. Give them to the shuffle the cards. Super fair and super easy. No slights, right? Force the 5 of diamonds, a really beautiful way. They shuffle the cards. Now, I used to use a more complicated way to get to this next point. I'm going to take up 5 cards and be 1 card behind and false cuts and a false count in there. I got rid of it. It didn't need it. That's the great thing about performing a trick again and again in front of people. So in this case, all I do is I say I'm going to try and narrow it down. And I go through and I take out a card. Now I do 5 cards, and I do it for lots of different reasons. I used to sometimes grab the top 5 cards, but maybe their 5 of diamonds was among it, right? Then I'd be in trouble. So I'm just trying to figure it out. Maybe that one there. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll say, I'm going to see if the energy from this card will guide me. Okay, let's see. Right there? No, how about this? No? Okay, how about this one? Okay. And so 5 cards move to the top one by one, but I don't say 5, okay? Don't say 5. Just some cards. Sometimes they notice, maybe they don't. Some cards. Then I take off the top 4 cards, and I don't go, I'm going to take these cards so they see they're 4. I just sort of say, I think I've narrowed it down. I make sure no one can quite see how many cards I got, but I've implied 5. I say, I'm going to narrow it down. I think your card might be one of these cards. I'm not sure. Okay. Again, the energy of the Magic's card is going to guide me. But tell me, just so I know, is your card one of these cards? And it's such a sneaky technique because I've only got 4 cards here and I'm already showing that card. I love this technique like this. Okay. So I'm here. Now I'm in for an amazing effect. I'm so far ahead, right? And remember, they saw the 5 of diamonds. First they saw the face of this card, the tarot card, right? And second, in this handling, they saw the 5 of diamonds when I went through like this. So they're absolutely convinced everything is as it seems. You hand this to someone, you have them hold on to them. Now, I'm going to try to narrow it down. Not by finding your card, but by process of elimination, one by one. I'm going to remove the cards that aren't yours. You stopped at any card. You've told me it's one of these 5. I think you'd agree there's no way I could know. Sometimes I've even, after they see the cards, I'll even say, look, actually take the cards, put them behind your back and mix them up. Now notice, now it's impossible, okay? Now, if you're concerned someone's going to count how many cards you have behind their back, no, they're just going to do this and hope to God they don't drop the cards, okay? You take them back. And without sounding like I'm selling this trick to you too hard, I think you'd agree that there's not even any technology in Magic that I know of, unless you're using like a $600 German electronics card set, that would allow you now to be able to figure out which of the just shuffled cards is in fact the person's card without looking at them. Okay, so they're doing this, I turn away and I kind of slip my hands underneath and I don't think this is your card. This 5 of spades was not your card, right? They go, no. And I say, I don't think this was your card. The Queen of Hearts, not your card, right? And then under here, I don't think, of course, and then I get rid of them all until I'm down and they can't feel exactly what's going on until I've removed all the cards. Now, you can either talk about they're pressing too hard. You can talk about, I'm sorry I didn't this. I'm actually really quite worried now. I should have done this faster. It took me too long because sometimes I found the chemistry, the attraction between the card you're thinking of and the Magic's card can be so strong that, and as I say this, I say, lift your hand. I say, yeah, I took too long. The attraction was so strong, they fused together. And as soon as you do that, you're going to see people. Because this is not, he found my selected card trick or the coin vanished. This is a very different kind of melting, fusing, next level surreal trick. So you get great reactions with that. And again, once again, everyone might want to look at these cards. There's no other 5 of diamonds among the cards in what you've done, of course. No one's going to go back to the deck. But if they had, by then you would already put that away, and this has got to be your closing effect anyway. So there you have it. The 3, and I probably performed, I'm going to share some more ideas with you, probably performed at one point maybe 6 versions of this as I was workshopping it. And those 3 I just performed and taught you are without a doubt, I think the 3 most commercial and strongest and have the most magic. And also they're all so easy. So I'm sure you're going to have a lot of fun choosing between them and making one of them your new favorite trick. Now let's take a moment to look at a few different handling points here that can really help you make this as practical and smooth as possible. All right? So first question is, let's say you want to perform the trick with a shuffled deck. A cold deck, shuffled deck, and you need to find the force card, the 5 of diamonds, we'll assume in this case, all right? Or have it where you need to be. You need to get the 5 of diamonds below it or above it, whatever, at the top of the deck or the bottom of the deck or wherever you're going to have it, depending on your handling. How do you do that? Here's a really wacky bunch of ideas. First idea is, when you're initially introducing the Magic's card, what you can do is have a rubber band around it, okay? With a prediction, and maybe a prediction is the 5 of diamonds. Right? So that's kind of cool. You got your prediction rubber banded, but what's the rubber band do? The rubber band allows you to have the 5 of diamonds where you need, hidden behind it, right? Which means that the deck can be shuffled, 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 okay? Done a bunch of tricks with it, whatever. And then when you want to get into this, you take this out of your pocket, right? Put it directly on top of the deck. This is my prediction here. Then you take the rubber band off, and what's cool about that, having taken the rubber band off, you just unloaded the 5 of diamonds now is on top of the deck. You can take this up, have this examined, whatever, okay? The deck goes down there, this is examined, right? Notice that in putting the rubber band away, you can switch the tarot cards, right? Or you can have, now that your deck is all set for you, you got your 5 of diamonds there, maybe you're going to use the Magic's card in a coin trick or sponge balls or some kind of mentalism thing like that, right? Then you can casually switch it up. Now, what I typically do, because I don't sit down much when performing, is my back pocket, my back pants pocket, whether I'm wearing a pair of jeans or whether I'm dress pants or whatever, is typically not where I keep much. So I just keep the 2 cards in my back pocket. And I always know the one furthest away from my butt is this one. So this comes out first. I can show that like this. And then it's very easy for me to tuck it in my back pocket at some point and either take the other one out, or I can even put this one in this back pocket and later on take it out of here and nobody even notices, whatever. So there's lots of ways to switch it out. So that's one way that the deck can be shuffled, but you can still ring this in. And add a prediction element to it. So there's that approach, right? Okay. Another approach could be to and this is, let's say the deck is shuffled. Deck is shuffled. Shuffle, I don't know where the 5 of diamonds is at any point. Now, an old ruse I've used forever is to say, we're going to try something now where we're going to use a playing card here. Well, actually, wait a second. Rather than me selecting the card, that's silly. Look, I'm just going to go through and touch one for me, please. And all I did was cut the card to where I wanted, either bottom or top, right? I literally just went through. We're going to use a card here. I spot the 5 of diamonds. Boom, like this. And I say, wait a second, why would I select it? We're going to have you. And nobody ever notices that you cut the cards. It looked like you parted them and put them back. So you could do it like that very simply. I also want to mention, one way to switch this early and easy is to have everyone look at the Magic's card. They're looking at the card, whatever you say, it's actually magic. You may not believe me. You probably don't believe me. Why? Just by waving my hand, I'm going to make the card visibly travel from my hand to my pocket watch. Just a wave. Just a wave, and it invisibly. You slip in your pocket, and you don't seem very impressed. I know, it was a bit too visible. Well, if you don't believe that's real magic, let me show you something else, and you go into the trick. Now, of course, in your pocket, all you did was slip in the pocket, freeze for the gag, and then come out with the switched in. So that's a really simple. It might seem obvious to you, but gags, when people laugh, getting people to laugh, is great misdirection. Psychologically, their focus is scattered. It works time and again. So making it a gag, saying I'm going to magically make it travel, invisibly travel, here we go, it's a bit too visible. Oh, okay, so look, make sure. It's a great way to get a laugh after they've already examined it, and you get to switch in that. Okay, so that's another way to do that. We did that. Culling, of course, culling is a great technique. It's more advanced sleight of hand for sure. But let me touch on that. Again, this project really, I want to make it great for all skill levels. But if you know how to cull, then all you can do is have someone shuffle the deck, quickly look through it and say, yeah, you really did give the cards a very thorough shuffle there. Nicely done. And I've been able to control the card to the top of the deck. Okay, and what culling is I spread through and I looked at the cards. I'm looking up and I said, boy, you really did a great job. And as soon as I spot the 5 of diamonds, okay, I look up and I say, I go, yeah, great shuffle job, okay? And what I'm doing here is I'm going to first hold the edge of the 5 of diamonds with my left thumb, okay? Then my right fingers below the cards are going to just gain purchase on the side of the 5, that's the 5. And while my left thumb is going to shift, my left thumb's going to shift, okay? From off the 5 to the card above it, in this case the 2. And I'm going to pull this card, the 5, to the right as I pull the 2 above it to the left a little bit. And what that does is it helps the 2 cards pass over each other, and this edge clears, right? Wait for it, sorry. The edge, where are we? Here we are, here, sorry. And the edge clears. And as soon as it cleared, that means I can push this card to the top of the deck when I square everything, okay? That's culling. So, for example, 5 of diamonds in the middle now. Spread through. Oh, you did a really good job of shuffling those. Nicely done. Now I've been able to control the card to the bottom of the deck where I need it, or the top, depending, right? You're there. We talked about the slip shuffle before, right? We talked about the slip shuffle before. Oh, and one last idea, and I mention this a lot in my projects because I love it, and that is if you're going to close your show with this trick, and it's so strong, you should consider closing your show. You can always have the 5 of diamonds in the card case. The case is closed like this with the flap in. Now, that means, like this, when I want to perform my show, all it means is I dump out the cards, okay, out come the cards, then I take out the flap real casually and put this off to the side. That's it, that's all. The deck is shuffled. I do card tricks, 4 ace tricks, I can do mentalism, I can do whatever I want. Card to pocket, ambitious card, whatever I want. Then to close, and remember, I've introduced this early, used this for something else, and I switched in my gimmick here like that. So I'm all set, okay? Shuffle deck, cold deck, no setup. Got my switched in card. I'm all set to perform this, and all I do is I grab the deck, I start and pull the flap down, I start to put it away, and I put the face-up deck on top of the face-up 5, like this. And I say, thank you so much, you guys. But actually, I tell you what, before I go, let me show you one last crazy thing, because I know I've been mentioning the Magis card, but I haven't shown you the real power of the Magis card. So let me show you now. And by putting the cards in and taking them out real casually, of course, now the 5 is on top of the deck where I need it to be. So that's a very elegant, and I've used that 1,000 times. Never got busted. It just flows right by. So as we discussed, one of the core ideas behind the evolution of this trick was the idea of before the fusion of the tarot card finding the selected card, or the spectator using the tarot card to find the selected card somewhere in the deck. So let's look at a few other ways we can do that I've used and that work real well. First, the crisscross force is a classic, right? Crisscross force, where you have a spectator lift off some cards. Say, I'd like to lift off about half the deck, They lift off about half, they put them down. Say, I'm going to bring these, I'm going to mark the spot right there. Right there. Now, I've been talking about the Magis card having powers, but I haven't really shown it them. So I'm going to mark the spot. You could have cut anywhere you wanted to. I'm going to mark the spot where you wanted to cut, right there. And I've been talking about the powers of the Magis cards, but I'm going to actually see whether they worked in this case, okay? Now, of course, it could have had the spectator be holding the Magis card, or maybe the Magis card. If you don't trust the spectator, they could have just had the card on the table with their hand on top like that, or between their hands, whatever. And then, of course, you show that the Magis card, even though they cut everyone, they found the selected card. It would have been the 5 of diamonds, sorry. So how do we do that? What's that about? Now, this is the crisscross force. It's simple, requires no skill, but it requires a special, so the psychology and the pacing is important, or you will get busted, all right? So, first couple of points here. If you say lift off some cards, and they lift off this many, and then you try to use the crisscross forward, they might remember which was on top and which was on bottom, and you'll get busted. That's why it's important to say to people, I want you to lift off, give the cards a cut, pretty much wherever you want, maybe about half the cards. So you're trying to balance verbally the idea that they are cutting where they want, it's true, but you want about half the deck. So I've got my force card on top. They cut the pack in about half, okay? Now, if they've been holding this, or this is there, what I do is I'm going to mark where you cut. Now, the traditional crisscross force is that this is put up dead center on that, so they're absolutely uniform. I prefer doing it at one end. I find it just, I don't want them to get confused too much about where things were. Now, you need a time lapse. Because why are you marking this then a second later? That's why for this, and you need to get their focus off here, so that when they come back, nobody remembers which half was which half, and there's a real strong sense. And when I take them off, I don't immediately remove this. What I do is I lift this a little bit, and then pull this out to really sell the idea this was in the middle, okay? But you need a time lapse, so that's a good time to talk about this, or a good time to bring this in and mark that there like that. And then, of course, it's found the 5 of diamonds with the tarot card. So crisscross force. That's one way to do this. What's another way? Is, this is kind of fun, a riffle force with the selection underneath. So if you've got this on top, they've already selected the card, okay, and you've controlled the card back up here, maybe you're using topper or whatever it is. Say you can do this, you can take this on top, right, steal off the card below, so now you've got the selection below, and now you regrip. You don't want one of these, you don't want this coming out here like that, you're holding it like this. And now what I can do, in fact it's even better like this from the front, is say stop whatever you want, Super fair. They cost. You're sure one there. You don't want to make it one more card. One more card. Then you put this and slip this in, and it because the card is hidden below, wherever they actually slip it in, you automatically load the five of diamonds below that spot. So that's another way to go to make sure that the tarot card found the selected card. All right. The real simple is a double lift spin out, which I love, where they can, we've got our five of diamonds on top of the deck. I use this all the time. It's so clean. It is a double lift, so it requires a bit more practice, but if you have a decent double lift, you're good. Right? They hold the very corner of this. I want you to hold the very corner. Gentle, gentle. Okay, the magician get fussy. You spread through, they touch any card with the corner of the card. And let's say they touch this one right here. You say, you're sure? They say, yes. That's the one they touched, okay? Like this. Now, I'm going to make it look like I spin the card out and turn it over on top, okay? But what actually I do is I get the double lift together, okay? So let me explain this to you. It's here. With a double lift, unless you're going to do a strike double, which has no get ready, you're going to push off the top card, pull it back, and get a little break under your pinky. That's all set to go. Now, a great time to do this small action, is when you're coming over and spinning this. The right hand completely covers the action. Naturally spin up on top, and you turn over two cards as one. All right? So I could spread them out. The spectator touches with the tarot card or this, spin that out and double lift. So that's another way to do that. Also last thought here, what's a really easy, direct, classic force? If you're comfortable, if you have a lot of experience where spectator reaches in, would you grab a card? And typically what you do, lots of different styles here, okay? But the card could well be, say, on the bottom card, the six of spades. You cut the pack and you keep a break. I know the card above my pinky is the one I want to force on. Then it's a timing thing. Say, go ahead, I want you to reach inside. And as their hand comes up, you make sure that card is available for their fingers, okay? The only way to get good at that is practice, but I know experts who never, ever miss. Okay, it's just boom, boom. They know how to read the timing so well. You can do the same thing with the card, right? Where you can have the break there, spread it out, and make sure that when they're about to slip it in, you just separate and it goes there. So that's another way to make sure. These are all different ways to create the effect of either the spectator with the card or the card itself with its personality, somehow finding the selected card. As strong as I found the reaction responses to the Magis card, find a selected card, there's no question that I get even better reactions with the reveal of the fusion. So how can we create an effect, or the effect I should say, of their selection fusing into the face of a card they already examined and looked at earlier on, the tarot card? How can we do that? There's so many different ways. And remember, there's something to be said for trying to make it look explicitly as much like as you have the card fuse into it, for sure. But there's at least as much or more to be said to doing it in ways that are implicit, ways that leave room for people's imaginations to do the real heavy bench lifting when it comes to creating wonder for themselves. Too many magicians are so obsessed with trying to create a perfect visual that ultimately I think strangely they can undercut the wonder. Okay, I've certainly found over many years of experience the implicit can often be a lot more engaging and mysterious than being explicit. If that makes any sense. So we've already touched on a few different handlings. And the tent vanish might strike you. I mean, I love the tent vanish. It's this whole idea of taking a card, propping it up here, showing it between the fingers here, and then saying, but if I close the fingers now, you can't see it. People totally buy that every single time. It's amazing. Okay, you don't want to stretch it too long. If the hand's too long there, they start to wonder, is it there too soon? If you take the card apparently off, okay, here, and make it vanish too quickly, then they intuitively think, well, maybe it was never left the deck. So it's a balance of the timing. But once you get that down, it really works, right? And so the technique I'm doing, just to make sure you know what I'm doing, is propping it up, taking it between the fingers like this, letting it stick out here or there, putting it back, holding it on the thumb, and as I come over to apparently take it, now my fingers are closed, I'm going to just let the card fall there, on top like this as I really try to get what you want is a real, exaggerate. This is not casual, okay? You really want to clench the hands and get a nice harsh line on the knuckles that really mirrors the idea of the harsh line on the edge of the card, okay? I've got tiny hands and I get away with this all the time. Okay, so one really nice way to go with this I've found is real simple, right? Is you've got, you say, look, let's see if we can, the attraction sometimes can be so strong, you can actually physically feel it. I've got my 5 of diamonds. And so what I do is I say, hold your hand for me, and I put this on top. So they're covering the tarot card between their two hands. They have it between their two hands, right? Boom, they've got it there. And I say, I'm going to do the same thing, okay? Now, if I keep my fingers open, though, I can actually feel the card's attraction. I don't know if you can. Whereas I find if I close my fingers, then it's... And then I take this, put my hand here, and I relax my hand as if I have mine. So now you have this beautiful mirroring. They've got theirs here. I've got apparently mine. And I put mine directly on top of theirs. And I go, oh, and I just open my hands. And they can, there's a sense it's gone or it's melted through. Then they lift their hand, and I can say it's directly below yours, and it's not, and then I get the gag, and then I show, or I just have them turn it over, and they find there like that. So that's a way to, rather than using the tent vanish as a quickie, you can really set up a nice staging there. Okay, so that's one way to go. You can use a palm here for sure. It works fine. I've done it a bunch of times. I don't think you need to. I mean, you can have, they found their selected card, right? Take the card, right? Put it underneath, visibly underneath, and then say hold at your hands like this and sort of give them that to hold on to. And all I've done is Tenkai card palm. Not difficult move, okay? It's under here like this. I'm here. I'm going to essentially take the tarot card away and turn it and put this in their hands, okay? But you still have to be selling the idea that this is here, right? Okay. Notice too, and I did mess around with this, but I found it wasn't practical. And that is you can load this underneath, and then as long as it's perfectly lined up over the 5, now you can show it. You've concealed the thing like this. You can do that. And certainly you could lap it. Okay, that's not a problem. You can now palm it off like this as you sort of have them put their hand on top. My hand here, theirs there. But I found that the only way to really make sure you've lined it up is pencil dots, or you have to do this and then that, so it's not really worth it. So you can palm. You can simply have it here like this, right? Sort of a two-hand palm. Take this here like this. Say hold at your hand. The hand comes back here, right? I'm now going to push this off into a palm while my hand drops to my side, and I give this to them to hold between their hands, okay? So that can flow very nicely from here to here. Hold at your hand for me, a little misdirection gesture there. Got that there, and I move forward like that. That's another way you can do it. But I find, like I said, I find the 10th vanish works really nicely. I find this take here is, I mean, you're here, 5 of diamonds, okay? Boom, like this. You take that, you show it to them, you put that between their hands. That flows. I mean, that's really, I think, the real work on it. Unless you want to get into some advanced sleight of hand. Then you have got a, this is real simple too, a real simple fusion thing. That can flow nicely from the spin out. We were talking about a spin out double lift before. Got this on top, and the selected card is just found the 5 of diamonds, right? Say, watch, do not take your eyes off the 5 of diamonds. They see the 5 of diamonds. You're here, you take this, say, watch it. Gonna put it on here like this, and just squeeze. The attraction is so great. Now watch, watch, watch. You lift this up, you show, no 5 of diamonds here, that's the 6. And that's because the 5 is now fused. Really pretty. And so the convincer here is that because this is a double lift, and of course the 5 and the 6, I didn't get very lucky there. Let's say got really lucky, got a nice court card going on there. So typically I would be here, 5 of diamonds. It found the card, fine. Turn this over, the double goes over. Don't take your eyes off the 5, really isolate it for a beat. Coming over here like this, right? Putting this on top, having them hold top and bottom, and push, push. They push so hard, I say lift it up. I say look, then they're holding this. I take the deck away from them and show, look, it looks like you made the 5 of diamonds vanish, but you didn't. It actually pressed so hard, it fused. So that's a really elegant way to do it with no advantage, just a double lift, right? Really emphasize the fusion there. We did this, the false take, that slip. Those are, oh yeah, I just wanted to draw attention. I really do love, I was going to leave this to the end, but I'll jump in here now. I love the rub away vanish, right? I mean, so pretty. There's the card, whatever, the 5 of diamonds is there, okay? Where are we with the 5 of diamonds? Now notice, one way I've done this at one point over the years is after it found the card, I would give it to them and say, what I want you to do is I want you to take it, hold it between two hands, and hold it under the table. So they're holding the Magis card between their hands under the table. Right? And we got the 5 of diamond in play. 5 of diamonds and say, look, I'm going to try to squeeze. I'm going to try to press the 5 of diamonds with all my might, okay? Press. See if it'll melt down through the fibers of the tablecloth, through the table, through your hands, and end up directly below the tarot card, and they bring their hands up. We lift, it's not there, whereas it's fused on. Okay, so let's take a moment to look at this. Okay, so this is a flow thing. Okay, this is all about pushing a card off. Okay, and I think you'll agree it looks exactly like I'm taking this card, right, and leaving it on the table. It's a flow thing. You're going from left to right to emphasize that it's being deposited about in front of you. Then and notice it's there. Then some people even show a little bit of it between the fingers as they close it. And you get an optical, a nice bit of retention there. All I'm doing is pulling it back. I'm not doing any. All I'm doing is pushing off and pulling back. It's the thumb only. That's all I'm doing. But boy, it really looks and could work great with a face-up card. There's no question about that. Face-up card can work, but face-down card in this case works beautifully too, right? Works really beautifully. 5 of diamonds. And notice if you got the 5 of diamonds and it's face-up, you can, or let's say 5 of hearts here. Because what you're doing is going on it, pulling up and turning the hand over, it means it doesn't flash. It looks, you can do it face-up, so that it can land depending on which way they're holding it. It doesn't really matter. No one's going to say it was face down before you headed into the execution of that Schleitzer. Okay, face down, face up, doesn't matter. But this move can work beautifully in lots of ways, because what they can be doing is, first, you can have it just on the table there, right? And have your 5 of diamonds here. And again, we're trying to create a finale moment of a fusion. The idea is that the whole trick's based on an attraction, a strange attraction between the two, right? So I can have this 5 of diamonds here, right? Put it right on top of the card, press, and it's melted through. Oh, I mean, that looks really pretty, really direct, okay? And again, we're just putting it right on top like that. Or what I've done, I really like the symmetry here, is I've had the spectator say, do me a favor, put your hand flat down on that card, and they do. So they got their hand flat down on it. And then let's assume it's there. And then I've got my 5 of diamonds. I can put it flat down too, okay, using the rub away vanish. So their hand is on this, I've got this, and so what I'll say is lift your hand, they lift their hand, I say I'm going to put them both together like this, and I want you to hold on to both of them, and I pull my hand out. So this notion that they have theirs, I have mine, we're going to put them both together now, and then you can press, or you can even press on top of my hands. I've done a bunch of tricks over the years. In a bar situation again, where I've got 2 hands, somebody puts their hand, the woman puts her hand on top, and this guy puts his 2 strong, so you got 7, 8 hands all pressing down, okay, on different kinds of magic effects. You can do that as well. There's no question that whenever I work at a walk-around gig, okay, where I'm performing the same 5, 6, 7 tricks, whatever, for 200 people over an hour, or 2 hours, or 3 hours, whatever it is, whatever kind of hell gig it is, it's nice when it's not always the same card. Because people will, and you probably found this yourself, they will follow you around and they'll watch and, you know, you're going to be, oh, I better know what it is. It's the 5 of diamonds, right? And this kind of thing, which is not much fun. So there's a lot of value to being able to change it up so that it was 5 of diamonds. So what I'll do is I'll do this trick 3 or 4 times in the first half hour or hour, right? And then take a break, and at the break I'll switch in the 3 of spades or whatever. But there's other ways, there's other things you can do with this, okay? For example, if you got your deck set up here like this, okay? You got your deck set up like this, where you have, well, let me just show you this. You're here like this, okay? And what you can do is if you've just done the trick, right? And the 5 of diamonds is fused into the card, What I find is a really commercial, really strong thing to do is you go through the cards, have someone call stop at a card, which they do, and they stop you at what in this case, the, let's get this, 3 of spades, okay? And you say, look, I'm going to take the 3. I'm going to take the 3 here, and I'm going to just wiggle it like this, and have the 3 go sort of fuse onto the, and have the 5 come out. So you get to do this mind-bending crazy using just a double lift. And in my experience, that's at least as strong as doing it again in another group, but this time with the 3 of spades. And so all you're doing there, of course, is switching it out again on the offbeat. You've done this. You've finished this. It's fused. People are freaking out. Everyone wants to see this card. They examine it, boom. And you can end your show there, no problem. Or take it back, and while packing up, this is where I'd have this in my back pocket, the other 2 in my back pocket, is you'd switch this in. This is great for a stand-up gig. That's really where I'd also suggest. If you got your case right there, you're tucking away things, you're putting a few things back, and you sort of just drop this back down. And this is in your case. It's long gone, okay, like this. And maybe you're even saying goodbye to people. Thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun. And for those of you who don't actually believe in real magic now, you know the Magis card is the real deal, whatever the case may be. And now all I'm going to do is a double lift, right? I've got things set up. So I've got my 5 of spades. My 5 of diamonds is on top, right? 3 of spades is underneath. You could do a top change if you wanted to. You could have the card selected, and then I'll do a top change to switch it for the 5. But let's assume we're just going to do double lifts, right? Do a double lift. Do a double lift here to show the 3 of spades. Again, you could do a riffle force or whatever force you want at that point. Do your double lift showing 3 of spades. Say, on the offbeat. This can be even here. I used to do this during some of my Zoom shows when we were all doing the Zoom shows not too long ago. Is after I had this fuse on once, I'd switch and I just leave that propped up against there like that. Forget about it. Go on to something else. And then at the end of my show as an offbeat, I'd say, hey, why don't we try one last thing to see if it works? And someone selects a 3 of spades, you turn it over, you've got the 3, and you say, remember the 5 of diamonds? Let's see if I can take the 3 of spades and have it fuse and take the 5 of diamonds out. I know it sounds like it's a crazy thing, but there's the 5 of diamonds. Just pulled it out of this image, and now inside, there's the 3 of spades. So you get this crazy, really sweet transposition, okay? Definitely, once you get more comfortable handling the gimmick and doing, I think, one of the first 3 handlings I share with you, once you get that down and get your confidence level up, definitely try to segue into this sometime. This doesn't require more skill manually, but it requires more skill staging-wise, pacing it to make sure there's no confusion. And when you become a more experienced magician, that tends to be where the more work comes in. You already have your fundamental skills. Now, what are you going to do with it? What kind of flow, theatrical flow, what kind of narrative are you going to explore? So that can have challenges of its own. And this effect, this transposition effect, is a great example of that. And it's a real mind blower as well. Here are 2 more last ideas with this very cool collection of custom printed gimmicks. One idea is the envelope. You'll find that you might be wondering, why did he include this envelope? Because I've used this so simply. It's such a simple and practical thing. I've used it a bunch of times. Because if you take an envelope the size, you'll see the size of almost perfect and fold in half, because what it does is it's a perfect for me to have in one front. I can have the face down Magis card, right? Just the ordinary Magis card. And in this other side, I can have the 5 of diamonds, the custom printed with the selection on it. And what's nice is if you don't want to use your back pockets or your pockets like this and try to remember which one is and the one is forward or back in the pocket, this is a very simple way, because all I do is I have a little pencil or pen dot on that end, because I know that's the ordinary Magis card and I'm good to go now, right? So what I can do is I can take this out of my pocket or out of my case, okay? Open this up without any fiddling or anything like that, close this up, and everyone just assumes it looks like at that point has a real sense of it's an empty envelope, and he just keeps this tarot card in it keep it in there so it doesn't get bunged up and stuff and like that. So I can have that examined, use that a few times, and then similarly to when we had the card, waiting in the card case earlier with the handling I shared with you. Similarly, after I've used this for a coins across or a couple of card tricks as a magic wand, whatever, I can take this out, right? Open this up, start to tuck it away and go, oh, but wait a second, you may not have felt that you saw the real power of the Magic's card. Let me show you what I mean. And you tuck that away and you've done your switch. Very simple, okay? So all I did, of course, and you know, it's all on the offbeat as you're here. You're starting to put this away here, and it's a very simple, no fudgy handling. It goes in, you pause a beat, you just shift your fingers down. No one's burning this. It's you're actually sort of like this, okay? You're tucking this away here, and then immediately, just by moving the fingers 2 inches, an inch and a half, down to the corner of here, I can immediately then sort of say, well, you might not have think that you saw the real power. And there's this sense, you put that away. There's this sense that it never left sight. That you were about to put it away, and then wait a second, I promise to show you that thing, boom, and so you can do the switch using just an envelope that looks so not like a magic prop, a totally organic thing, and helps to keep it up. It takes care of the cards, and it helps to keep them, of course, in your case or wherever you happen to carry all your magic stuff to your gig. That can all be tidy there like that. So that's one idea I wanted to share with you. Oh, the other idea here. This is super minimal, okay? This is real low key, but there are visual elements in the pacing where it works really nicely, okay? A different way to share the, after you've found the selected card or whatever, a different way to share it is to say, look, I'm gonna isolate the card inside the card case. And what's really nice about this, and make sure I can't tamper with it or you, we're gonna have the Magic's card stand guard. Keep an eye on it for us, and then you go into your card tricks, coin tricks, mentalism, whatever you want. And then at the very end, of course, you say, you guys have been great, whatever, thank you so much. I'm going to go out of the table there. Oh, about your selected card, I think you'd agree you didn't get near, and I didn't get near, right? Because the Magic's card's been watching it very carefully. Well, look, you can ask someone to take the card case and open up, and they find the cards vanished. Beautiful vanish from inside the card case, and then we find it's actually fused because of the attraction between them. And that's using an old technique of mine that I've done 1,000 times, never got burnt. Some magicians think it looks a bit bold, but it's about just being confident, right? Got this here. And it came in a totally organic moment. I wanted to slip this in the card case, and I realized, well, I can try to do this, and that's a bit finicky. Or the most organic thing to do is to just pick up the card case and slip this in. I realized, well, I can just literally slip it. I can go here, lift it up, put my fingers. My fingers are going to go in the case. The card is going to go below the case directly onto the deck. And then I'm going to lift, I'm going to hinge everything up and forward, my fingers still in there to really sell the, and my focus is here. This goes to my pocket or onto the table. And it does a beautiful job with a lot of large actions, meta actions on a meta level, so to speak, of a card being put inside the card case. Really convincing. You can hand that to someone, people would swear it's in there, okay? And so at that point you can put the card underneath or put it on top or just have it over here, keeping an eye on the card, whatever. And then at the very end, you have this lovely dramatic moment where somebody is asked to open up the case and they see that the card is no longer there. Beautiful magic, even if it's nowhere else. It's a beautiful vanish for the end of your show or end of a routine, and then they can turn this over and everything can be examined. There you have it. I think you'd agree that it's both strange and attractive